Steve Connors and Molly Bingham began their careers as photojournalists, covering conflict regions around the world before directing the film Meeting Resistance.
Steve's been covering conflict for almost more than 20 years, and I've been doing it for about 13, so it was sort of a normal thing for us to go to Baghdad.
Connors and Bingham have been criticized for making a film about a group that attacks the US military and Iraqis who work with them. The filmmakers say they're just trying to report the story.
Just going out and working on the street is what you have to do. You don't necessarily need to try to set it up in advance or have interviews with high-level people to figure out what the story is. Figure out the story by going to the hospital. Figure out the story by going to the clinic. Figure out the story by being on the street with people. They'll tell you what the story is.
That is exactly what happened when their translator told them about torture at Abu Ghraib 4 months before the story broke internationally.
She said, "Do you really think that it's happening? I mean, she and I had a very close relationship. Do you really think this is going on?" And I said, I don't think Americans would do that. So, I had to eat a lot of crow in April or May of 2004 when those pictures come out, just with her, between our personal relationship. It was very humiliating for me.
The filmmakers had unprecedented access to fighters and Iraqis who support what they think of as the resistance movement.
لا يأذي اكو شرطة تقوم بواجبات الشرطة طارد عصابات تحفظ الأمن هذول ما لنا علاقة بهم بس اكو شرطة متعاونة ويا الأمريكان.
There was a parody of vulnerability, I think is a good way to look at it. They were vulnerable to us, that we actually were journalists and we said what we said we were, and that we would treat what we learned and how what we reported with integrity, and that we weren't working with the U.S. intelligence in any way. We were vulnerable to them because they could kidnap us, they could kill us.
A mob scene that erupted unexpectedly in the market has stayed with Connors.
It was incredibly dangerous. And that shot of the guy in the smoking market, that's pretty much all I got. And then we had to get back in the cars. There was a mob moving in on us.
Their film was recently screened at Columbia University. A heated debate followed.
I didn't feel comfortable there. I felt there was some
You're not supposed to feel
possible
comfortable.
ethical, no, about ethics.
I'm a military family member. My father's in Baghdad right now. And, I really thank you for this film, for providing a level of dimensionality to the resistance.
While Connors and Bingham oppose the violence used, they admit that they empathize with the insurgents.
These people are dedicated to something, and the fact that they're dedicated to it is something that I respect.
At the same time, I think that anybody who uses high explosive when there's a high probability of civilians being killed is committing a war crime.
Despite their sympathies, Bingham says they tried to make the film as objective as possible.
We didn't come to film as filmmaking as filmmakers with a perspective. We came to it as journalists who had a story to tell, because I think it's important to understand who's on all sides of a conflict.
For Columbia News, I'm Doni Kanile.